welcome. Perfect timing. Thank you for being here. We see you as a black square with one A. Oh, okay. Your name just changed. Awesome.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. So I want to introduce everybody to Susana Ramirez. She's the Capital Improvement Projects Engineer for the City of Gilroy. She got her bachelor's in chemical engineering from San Jose State. And she has her EIT in civil engineering. And Susanna, you were also at Cabrillo. Um,
Yes.
what year did you finish Cabrillo?
So I transferred from Cabrillo in 2015
Okay,
and I graduated San Jose State in 2017.
awesome. Well, thank you for being here. It's so nice to have you. I would you like to talk about your experience at Cabrillo or start with where you grew up and how you decided on your field, maybe?
Yes, so I don't know if I can share I put a little presentation
Oh, cool. Yeah.
together.
Should be able to share your screen. There it is.
Okay,
Um, I think it's still loading.
okay. Well, let me know if you can
Yep,
see.
we got it.
So I'm currently a CIP engineer for the city of Gilroy. I grew up in Watsonville, not too far from you guys there at Rio, and I attended Watsonville High. So I graduated from San Jose State with a bachelor's in chemical engineering. Um, After I graduated, I worked in research and technical services, uh, doing asphalt products as a materials engineer.
Oh,
So that's where I kind of started in the construction field. And I worked for a company called Granite Rock and Aromas for about almost 4 years. And then I went to work as a field engineer for an underground utility company that did work mostly for PG&E. And I was there shortly. We did a lot of new services upgrades, transformers, pole replacements, a lot of electrical utilities. And after that, I went to work as a CIP engineer for the city of Gilroy. And while working there, I obtained my engineering training certificate, which is one of the requirements for my job. I believe you can get that certification at any time while you're still a student. I think it's recommended your senior year of college that you take that test. Um, then right now I work on public works projects. Some of the projects that I'm working on right now are curb ramps throughout the city to make them ADA compliant, road rehabilitation, so a lot of the slurry, repaving of roads, and we have some traffic signals, some hawks, some crossings. Um, I'm working on a trail, so a bike ped trail, and on installing new playgrounds at parks. So, water filling stations, lighting, a lot of different uh, facilities for public use. And it just depends on, the type of projects. A lot of these are grant funded. So we work with federal funds and state funds for a lot of this project. So there's a lot of different deadlines and requirements that some of these have. I also put plans and specifications together. I go out to bid for projects. I get the contractors on board. We have to go through our city council to approve projects and award for construction. Then we also have to manage the construction. So throughout the whole project, I'm in charge of making sure that everything goes well, residents are notified, everybody knows what they're doing, They follow the proper traffic control plans and a lot of coordination with different departments and with the contractors that we work with. And then why did I choose engineering? So in elementary school, I was part of a program called GATE, which is Gifted and Talented Education. I was really good at math and science. So throughout that program, they pretty much told me that I was going to be an engineer. They had MESA at my elementary school. We went to the science museum. We built bridges and did a lot of different cool things. So since I was in elementary school, I knew I was going to be an engineer. And I decided on being a chemical engineer through exploring my options in the Engineering 5 class at Cabrillo with Joanne. So it was kind of a process of elimination for me, just kind of exploring a little bit of what other majors did and, realizing that I didn't really like the other majors. In the end, I ended up getting, my bachelor's in chemical engineering, but I've never actually worked as a chemical engineer in my professional career. So I work as a civil engineer. I worked in construction since the beginning. And so far, my degree has helped me because I have a different way of looking at things than my coworkers because they're mostly all civil engineers. And so it's good to have, different perspective, point of view on a lot of our projects. So I attended Cabrillo for about 4 years. First, I was a part-time student until I finally got along ahead enough that I thought, okay, it's time to go full-time. I transferred to San Jose State in 2015, and then I graduated with a bachelor's in chemical engineering in December of 2017. And what engineering has done for me. So I've been able to invest in real estate, and I bought my first home in 2019, just 2 years after starting my career as an engineer. And I have economic freedom. I've had a steady job since I graduated. I've never not had any work or not been able to find work. And my career has allowed me to work as a civil engineer with my chemical engineering background. And so far, it hasn't been a challenge. You're able to move, take your skills in engineering and apply them to different fields. And I'm also working on my master's in chemical engineering. So back to chemical engineering. And I'm also working on my PE. So it's a professional engineer's license in civil engineering and construction. So kind of a mixture of everything for me.
Are you working on your master's while you're working full time, Susana?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And where are you doing that? What kind of program is that?
So I'm doing my master's at San Jose State University, and I'm about 12 units in. It's a 30 unit program. So I'm almost halfway done with
And
that.
does your company provide you financial support to do that?
So my city pays $1,000 a year for any classes that I take. So yeah, it helps.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for suggestions for all of you future engineers is to make up your mind on what type of engineer you want to be because it will save you a lot of time so that you don't have to take classes. Civil engineers don't have to take as much science or chemistry classes as a chemical engineer, vice versa. And you don't want to waste your time taking classes that you don't need. So the sooner that you decide what you want to do and you stick with it, the faster you'll get through it, and then you'll be able to get out there and explore what type of work you like. One thing that really helped me is having a good study group, even at Cabrillo. Um, it's very important because you guys will support each other. You know what you're going through, and you'll be able to, answer each other's questions. And if you can, spend as much time as you can on campus, in the Mesa Center, in the Student Center. Just, I think that will help you stay focused on your work versus going home and trying to do homework there where there's more distractions or other responsibilities that you have. Um, and know what classes you need. Talk to your counselor, tell them what you want to study and have a list, and that way you can just check them off as you go and have a plan. I think as the further you get along and you're getting stuff done, the faster and the more motivated that you'll be. And one thing that I didn't do, but a lot of my fellow classmates did, was to get internships on your first year at Cabrillo, and every year that you can. A lot of the times, the companies that give you internships are the ones that are going to hire you once you graduate. So that's something that I didn't do, and that did affect my ability to be able to get a job. So just get out there and apply for the internships, get some experience, and then you'll also find out if that's something that you really want to do, if that's a job that you want to have. And even if you're just making copies, running errands, doing stuff that you might not think is getting you a lot of experience, it counts a lot when it's on your resume, and companies see that you had some exposure to some type of engineering. It weighs a lot when you're interviewing for those jobs. And that's kind of a summary of my career journey. So do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I'll get the questions started, and if you have questions, you can put them in the chat or unmute. But I think the students would love to know why you are doing your chemical engineering degree while you're working in civil engineering, because you're even going on for a master's in the chemical, but the PE in the civil. So what is it that you're bringing from the chemical side, or why do you see that as important to the contributions for your civil job? Maybe that's the right question.
Yeah. So I'm planning to focus my master's on water purification systems, and a lot of public works projects that we deal with have to do with water. So having that technical background and expertise is really important in a lot of those jobs too. If you go work for Valley Water or some of the other water companies, they're very competitive. So I think once you have the background in civil and projects, and then you have the technical background in your master's in water purification or water systems, um, I think that will really help to put you out there. You'll have something that others might not have. Um, in my case, it would take me, since I am already a chemical engineer, it would probably take me an extra maybe 2 years if I wanted to get my master's in civil engineering. So that's not really realistic for me.
Yeah.
So it would save me a lot of time. I would
I,
probably have to do another 2 years of school. I
I
wanted to do the civil. Also, when I tried to pursue kind of a mixed chemical engineering, civil engineering master's program, master's degree, my advisor was okay with it. So they were okay with allowing me to take some civil classes as technical electives for um, for my master's in chemical engineering. But I decided not to do that and focus on water purification because, water is huge
yeah,
and it's going to be a big issue that we're going to have to work on solving. So,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So
yeah.
you plan on staying in your with the city after your degree, after your master's?
No. So I, uh, where I work, there is a high turnover rate where I work. So it's kind of hard to really get a lot of the experience that I'm looking for. So I think that I would have to move to a larger agency to be able to have maybe some more consistent mentorships and people that have been around. I think the longest that our team member has been there is 6 years,
Oh,
and I've been there for about three. So um, people don't stick around a lot. Public agency work is, it's a lot of work and very demanding. There's a lot of projects, a lot of meetings, just a lot going on all the time. And I want to move towards a more kind of a more work-life balance situation.
mm, definitely. I understand that for sure. Yeah. Let me open it up to the class to see if anyone has any questions. The one in the chat you sort of answered. Does anyone else have a question for Susanna? I guess while we're waiting, do you have do you find yourself out in the field in your position or more of an office position?
So most of my work is in the office. I'm pretty much on the computer all day long.
Mhm.
I have a lot of meetings. I have to put a lot of project specs, read a lot of the scope of work for our grants, call people. I also deal with the public. So my field time is very limited. And once my projects do go into construction, I do get a chance to go out there maybe once a week to take a look at them and see how everything's going, but not as much as I would like.
Oh, okay. So you'd rather be out in the field and doing more hands-on work. Yeah. Someone asked, how long after graduation did you get your job? And someone else asked, how many work hours is it at your job?
So I graduated December of 2017, and I had actually applied to get a PhD at the UC Merced because they have a blended program, a multi-engineering program that works for NASA pretty much exclusively. So they've created a PhD program to cater to NASA's needs. And I had applied for that and I was just waiting to get my acceptance letter. But my family thought that, I can't just go to school forever. So they really pressured me to get a job. And so I applied to a couple of different places. And I said, okay, if I don't get a call back, if I don't get a job, I'll just go do my PhD. And in April of 2018, so a few months later, I got a job with Granite Rock. and was there for about 4 years.
Okay. Yeah. And I think the question, how many work hours a week is for your current job? Because I think you said
So,
it's not the 9 to 5.
so my job is 40 hours a week.
Oh,
Um, I guess that's one of the benefits of working for a public agency. We usually start at 8 and I get out at 5:30, but I get every other Friday off.
yeah.
So it's a good it's a good schedule and it's about 30-minute drive from my house. So it's not too bad.
Someone else asked, what are the pros and cons of working for the city? It's a good question.
I think some of the pros are that a lot of cities have good benefit plans, good retirement plans, and they some cities pay really well, um, depending on where you work. And so you get health benefits, you get a retirement plan, you work 40 hours a week, you don't have to work overtime. And some of the cons are that, the workload at a public agency, I think is pretty high. Also, the employee turnover rate is pretty high. And sometimes, the expectations are not realistic. We pretty much work for the city council. A lot of, you know, the issues that are brought up in city council meetings push the agenda for the projects that we work on or deadlines or things that we have to do. So a lot of times, they don't care that there's only two engineers working on projects. They want to get stuff done. And that's just how things are. So we really work for a governing body that doesn't really know what we do. So that's tough sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds like a difficult position to be in. And it can ebb and flow too. If they don't have any engineering projects on their in the future, you could have a really slow period.
Yeah, so we have a pretty big backlog of projects
Oh,
right
okay.
now. So um, yeah, we're just busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Wow. Um, awesome. I guess what would you leave our students with here today? Like, what piece of advice would you give them as they are just starting out? You mentioned Engineering 5 in your presentation, and that's where they are right now.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on what they should do right now?
Yeah, I think that, after this class, at the end of this class, you should really have kind of a more clear picture of what you see for yourself, what kind of work you like to do, where you would want to work at, and really focus. I think that the hardest part is just getting your degree. So as soon as you finish all your classes, study, try to learn as much as you can, be, an expert in whatever you're studying. Once you're done and you graduate, you can really work anywhere. You can work for any company doing whatever, you want. And it's kind of universal. You could go work in another state, travel around. I have friends that I went to school with that go live in Chicago doing engineering stuff over there or in Las Vegas, or, their job just takes them everywhere. And there's a lot of really cool things that people get to work on, a lot of exciting engineering stuff. So as soon as you learn what you want and what you want to do, the easier and the faster that you can just get to your job, start making money, and you're able to move. You don't like your job here? you can get a job somewhere else, and it won't be it won't be hard. You won't have to struggle, and that's one of the benefits of being an engineer.
Awesome. And does the city have any internships for students?
Sometimes we have internships depending on our staffing levels. I think this year we didn't have one, but we might have one for next year.
Oh, cool. If it comes up, will you let us know?
Yes.
Awesome. Because that would be really helpful for the students. Does Granite Rock do internships?
Yes, they do.
Oh, they do. Okay. So if they're interested in construction type work, would that be the place to go?
Yes. And I used to teach the interns that came through our lab, but
Oh,
I know that some of my coworkers interned at Granite Rock as well for like the design side.
mhm.
So Granite Rock does have internships every year. So you can just um, check that out and, you know, see if you like construction.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Susanna. It was so nice to meet you and have you in the class today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I think our class is actually ending in a couple minutes, so I have a couple wrap up things to tell the class, and then we'll all be heading out.
Okay.
So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, take care. Thank you so much.